Everyone, and welcome to the Balanced Bodies Blueprint. I am your host, Vinny Russo.
And I am your co-host, Dr. Eryn Stansfield.
And we're shifting gears from all the conventional fitness narrative you hear on most fitness podcasts, as our main emphasis lies in preventative healthcare, adopting a holistic approach to nutrition, and challenging the traditional views on various fitness topics.
Our mission with this podcast is to provide you with the information you need to achieve optimal health.
And on today's podcast, we have a guest appearance from Dr. Ashley Dwyer. I believe we started talking on Instagram a little bit where it was like something with like SECO and like how we can't believe people don't believe that. And then it was like, why are people getting like reverse T3 labs and stuff like that? So we both have a pretty similar mindset when it comes to overall health and nutrition, and a lot of Dr. Dyer's a lot of her content aligns with what we preach here at Balanced Bodies. So we thought, since we're going to start off the guests again, so we paused for a little bit. So you're our first guest coming back on. We're starting up the guests again. Yeah. We figured, let's get someone that really, really aligns with us. And, you do have some really good content. So we'll give all that information in the description. But why don't you give our listeners a brief introduction about yourself, who you are, what you do, and take it from there.
Yeah, thanks. I feel so flattered to be like the first guest back on. So I am a licensed pharmacist by trade, but I left the profession about 5 years ago. And now I am I'm going to do quotes if you're listening, like functional health coach for women. I know we're probably going to talk about functional stuff coming up, but we predominantly help women like 25 to 60 with anything type of like hormonal related. So PCOS, Hashimoto's, perimenopause, anything that's a little bit more complex than the average macro and fitness coach would do.
So with that being said, you did bring up functional, and the listeners of myself and Dr. Eryn.
I'm tough on functional. Yeah. So you're going to have to explain that. But I want to know, first off, what made you go from pharmacist to what you do now? Because that's a vastly different career choice as far as I'm concerned. And if you can kind of delve into that, what was the evolution there?
Yeah, it's funny. Once you hear it, you'll be like, oh no, that makes total sense. I decided pharmacy when I was 18, did the schooling, started competing in bodybuilding competitions at 22. So when I was in pharmacy school, and I fell in love with the manipulation of diet and exercise. Not the healthiest to do bodybuilding competitions, but learned that later. And I was not going to quit pharmacy to then pursue dietetics or anything like that. So I was like, let me finish out my
invested.
Yeah, I'm like, too much money already there.
Right? Yeah.
Let me finish this out, and then I'll be able to help my patients in the future with like lifestyle changes and whatever. And then I went into the retail route, and retail pharmacy makes you soulless. So it's like the Walgreens, I work for Walgreens and Publix. And it was just so much stress, and people treat you like McDonald's, and there's not a lot of like counseling. So it ended up being like a moral burnout type of like, this is what I really want to do, and I'm not able to do it. And then I had my own health issues around 27, 28, where Western medicine kind of failed me, and functional and more lifestyle coaching saved me. So then I really got passionate about that, and then created my company at 30, and here we are.
I'm just curious from a Western medicine perspective, coming from the doctor side, I often would be the one be like, you need a Synthroid, or you need, some medication, stuff like that. What was it? What kind of physician did you go to? Did you feel heard at the time? Like, how did you figure out, I need to eat more? It's really a lifestyle change and not a medication problem.
Yeah. So I went to a regular like primary care, and he ran a bunch of labs, and I was like, oh no, this is really bad. You're right. Like I had, like urethroid 6 so like my TSH was normal, right? And my T3 was just what was really low. And so they put me on thyroid meds to help symptoms and kind of like help me. But then after 2 years of still like battling fatigue and like hair shedding and just whatever of trying to find my dose, I went to endocrinologists and probably 3 PCPs, 2 endocrinologists, and like finally functional, like I even fired a functional coach too, or a functional medicine practitioner, and then went into more of the coaching and lifestyle. And it wasn't until I shifted my lifestyle and stopped training as much. Like I was a 5 or 6 day a week gym goer, fasted cardio. And they put me down to 2 days a week for 30 minutes and I flipped.
Yeah, that's a crazy shift in mindset right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm gonna gain weight. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I actually was able to like finally not be so inflamed and stressed. And I was like, oh my God, this is like magic. And that is when I was like, okay, this is what we need, not just more medications and more supplements.
Interesting.
And yeah.
Yeah, it sucks that you found a Western doctor that kind of just threw you on the medications without taking into account your lifestyle the past few years with competing, because that's a big red flag for anybody, right? Because you know what you do to your body. So it's kind of like take a break, see how that works first before we jump on the medications. And that's what I know that's what Eryn does here with our clients. It's
Yeah.
never prescription. It's always listen, let Vinny do his thing with his diet, listen to him with listen to him with the workouts, the cardio, the movement, that type of stuff, and then kind of go from there and let's see what happens. But you establish a baseline and then you get labs 3 to 4 months after that, if need be, if they really want to, and it's just close monitoring, right?
Yeah, I think I'm board certified in preventative medicine. So I focus on the preventative side, which is very rare, unfortunately, in
Love that.
a lot of medicine in general. I think we're now moving towards that. Unfortunately, it's not financially rewarded, so there's not real incentive to practice preventative medicine. But that is true. We try to make lifestyle interventions as much as we can. And that being said, I refer often, right? So I'm not a nutrition specialist. So I'm going to say, hey, you need to go to a nutritionist, you need to go to a dietitian, whatever, that direction may be clinically, to see if we can fix things without medication first. Let's give you a trial. And then, and then if you need medication intervention after that, then it's needed. Western medicine is a beautiful thing and it's there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So I, definitely, I think it's a molding of both entities in order to be effective for most patients. But sometimes I feel like patients don't feel heard or aren't able to explain their story. And you have a very unique story.
Yeah.
I mean, coming from a pharmaceutical industry where what drugs, what those interactions, what those labs look like, and to be able to be like, wait a minute, there's more that's going on here that we're not
Mhm.
addressing. I think we need more of that in medicine.
I agree with you. And I think your clients are very fortunate that they get both of you, right? Like they do get that referral. And I mean, I will say at the time, even giving my doctor at the time, I didn't know any better. I was 27 and I knew pharmacy, I knew drugs, and I thought as like a competitor and as a pharmacist, like I had failed myself because now I'm sick. Like I'm
Yeah.
getting a diagnosis on the table. I thought I was super healthy. I was super lean and muscular. So my doctor was like, no, you're eating well, right? Like I wasn't the typical, you need a nutritionist, dietitian.
It's like
Uh,
you know what to eat, but you just didn't know you weren't eating enough,
yeah,
right?
like what
Yeah.
were carbs? I was probably I think my fasting glucose was like in the 50s.
Yeah,
Like
probably just
it
eating
was not
vegetables for your
good.
carbs. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not good.
Just broccoli is your carbohydrate source. That's it. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Um, quick question though. Now that it's front of mind, do you think that your background as a PharmD gives you an edge as a coach?
Yeah, absolutely.
In
I
what
think,
ways?
yeah, clients coming in on medication, I know what they are, I know how they interact, I know what
Yeah.
they do with supplements. That really helps, but also the processes of the body and like symptoms to look out for. I think that definitely gives me an edge. I will say I might, like pharmacists can read and interpret labs, but it's few and far between. Like we're not really doing that at retail. We're doing
Yeah.
it ambulatory care or other clinical settings. But I definitely think the knowledge of allopathic medicine and then coming into more coaching
Mhm.
is, yeah, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and leading into the topic of functional coaching. So I want to make sure all my listeners know that we're not I'm not going back on my initial thoughts of what functional coaching is or any of those. I'm not taking anything back.
Mhm.
But this is a coach who calls herself functional, but her definition of functional, I think, is way different from what I talk about with other functional coaches. Because when I asked you too, I was like, hey, listen, I need you to be honest here. Like when you get labs, do you refer out? And she's like, of course. I'm like, all right, good. That's like the biggest green flag right there for me when people talk about coaching. So if you can, because you do refer to yourself as a functional coach, but you do talk a little bit of shit on some of the functional coaching. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Maybe we need a new word for functional. Do I just
Yes,
do like
please.
holistic? Like, I don't know the term. So maybe we can come up with a new term together on here.
Yeah.
But I will say we do, and I hate this too, because I feel like everything's become a buzzword. But like if I say like root cause,
Oh,
whatever,
yep.
it's red flags, right?
Yep. 100%.
But if we have a client who's coming in with like bloating and gas and whatever, and like stomach, like acid reflux, we're not just going to throw them on a PPI like Western medicine might. We're going to do elimination protocols. We might do like an H. pylori, like treat something for H. pylori. We might do a betaine with HCl or apple cider vinegar type of protocol. So we're trying to like fix why they have acid reflux, not just cover it up,
Hmm.
right? Or fibroids, heavy periods. We're trying to figure out estrogen detox pathways and like why we have estrogen dominance and certain things like that. So it's not that I shit on functional coaches because my experience with functional coaching myself or going to functional medicine doctors or some of the teams and people that I've seen throughout the years on Instagram, you go to them, you do a bunch of expensive tests that you
Yep.
have to do right out the gate, and then they load you up with a ton of supplements. Like we're
Hmm.
not really coaching. We're just taking $1,000 worth of things and then expecting to be healed,
Yep.
right? So that is what I shit on. We are more of a lifestyle first. So if we have someone come in, I'm gonna fix your diet, your nutrition, your stress, your mindset, like all of these things. We're gonna fix your shit. I hope, can
Yeah.
we curse on this podcast?
Yeah, of course you can.
We're gonna do that first before I slam you on a ton of supplements because I want you to like fix your problem after you're done working with us. Like I want you to continue being well, not just
Yes.
a bunch of things.
Yeah,
So I don't
taking
know.
supplements for life, like it's not sustainable, especially with, with money. So,
No.
yeah.
So what's the term for that? Is that functional? What are we calling it?
I mean, for simplicity right now, I guess we'll just keep it that way.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out on Instagram or something. We'll figure something out.
Mhm.
So in your opinion, where do you think the quote unquote functional coaches or functional practitioners today, and like I guess the way I would label them, where do you think they cross into pseudoscience,
Um,
if you would call it pseudoscience?
yeah, I mean, no, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot of like some of the really functional people will demonize a lot of foods, right? Like we will, like seed oils are a big one, but like
Yep.
all the data shows that they're fine,
Yep.
but then like they're the worst thing you could possibly ingest to like some other type of functional coach. I mean, for certain protocols, sure. I think I think there's a fine line between like anecdotally what you see in your practice over and over and over again and where science hasn't maybe caught up yet.
Yep.
And then where some people are just making up their own stuff to like be loud on the internet and like attract clients.
Yep.
Yeah.
The buzzwords, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And it's funny too that you brought up the anecdotal stuff because it's like even with me, like I know fasted cardio doesn't burn more body fat over time. That's research. There's tons of data that says it. When I do it for me, and if I have my clients do it, I feel like from the anecdotal data that they might get a little bit more of an efficient result. Now, that's anecdotal, doesn't mean that it's true, but it's something where like if I'm going to do cardio to start losing body fat, I'm probably going to do it fasted because for me it feels that way, right? And that's anecdotally. That doesn't mean that it's legit and that it's true. So when you have coaches come on or functional coaches and they're like, yeah, well, anecdotally with my clients, we removed all gluten and everybody felt better. It's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I'm pretty sure not every one of your clients has celiac disease, so you don't have to
Right.
remove gluten.
So let me ask you a question. Do you do fasted workouts or cardio with your female clients?
So it all depends on their schedule. So I base everything off of their lifestyle and their schedule. And if they're like, hey, it's the only time I could get it in, we do it. Plain and
Yeah.
simple. I'm not having, I have a few bodybuilders left as clients. That's how I started my business. I was just bringing bodybuilders to stage, and then
Mhm.
I transitioned to more Gen Pop, and then focusing on health, and then bringing, Dr. Eryn on. She went to go take care of our baby if you saw her
Yeah.
leave. So it just went to a more like, let's optimize your health, and honestly, your physique is going to change with all the changes that we're making anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so when it comes down to like, what do I prescribe? In terms of like working out stuff, everything, even diet, it's based around their schedule, how many meals they want, what type of foods they want, when they can eat. I don't really give times. I'm just like, hey, you want 4 meals per day? Fine. Here's your 4 meals. Just make sure you get it in before you go to bed. Like
Yeah.
however you want to do it, whatever fits your schedule. Why do you ask?
Oh, because I was going to say this is not supported in the data that like fasting cardio is bad for women or hormones or something. Like it's not really supported.
Mhm.
But I do not have my premenopausal women do it because anecdotally, like it does skew their glucose for the day. We do have more cravings or more fatigue. If
Mhm.
we're really trying to deal with, or if we're really trying like my PCOS clients or the stress like Hashimoto's, whatever, it doesn't do them.
Any favors?
No, it's not really helping them in the beginning. If we get to
Yeah.
a point where they're more managed than they want to do it,
Mhm.
okay, as long as other stressors, I'm in the big believer of like we need to balance your stressors. So if like we have that and then a bunch of other ones, that's not good. So let's
Yeah.
eliminate what we can and like balance where we can because just like you said, I love your the way you're coaching is you have to do it where it's practical for the client. If you just give
100%.
them like in a vacuum this protocol,
Yeah.
it's not going to do anything. You got to
No,
do
no.
it to the client. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like you competed, you said NPC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
tough one. Just like you competed, like when I competed, I used coaches too. Like I could
Yeah.
coach myself, but I'm like OCD and crazy, so I need someone to kind of hold me back a little bit.
Love
But
it.
yeah, everything was so rigid and structured. It's like at that time, yeah, I ate at that time, and I know what that feels like, and it's not sustainable. And to be honest with you, if you're not being paid to do this, you're not competing in the Olympia. I don't think you need to go to that extreme and to that limitations.
It gave me an eating disorder. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Let's not.
Well, I'll tell you what, it didn't give me an eating disorder, but it gave me sort of this body dysmorphia because
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
like right now, like if I took off my shirt, like I'm in really good shape, but I'm like, I'm not where I was on stage. So I'm like, I kind of hide it sometimes, right? And there's this image here of like, because I don't look my best or the best I ever did, I'm not good enough. And it's like,
Oh,
it's this thing that kind of sits with you. And over time, and I'll tell you what, my wife, she's helped me with that a lot because she's kind of one of those people where she was just able to like go into a prep for 6 weeks and like look great, go on stage and like win a competition. I'm like, I prepped for 6 months. That's half a year it took me to get ready for stage. But she like had this very laid back type of approach to dieting, type of approach to working out and competing. She would get in when she could get it in. If she didn't, yeah, so what? Where I was like, no, I gotta go, you know. So over time, she kind of like rubbed off on me and I was able to loosen up. And it's weird because I would like tell my clients, oh, it's okay. But I would tell myself, be like, no, fuck that, Vin, you got to go. Like,
yeah.
so yeah, it's this kind of a tug of war between how I would treat myself and what I would actually preach. And then now it's like, I'm living a way better quality of life, not being so obsessed over fucking like one blueberry, not adding 2 grams to my carbohydrate intake, you know, like,
I had a similar thing, or like, 13 almonds instead of 12. But
yep.
I was gonna say that's why you and Eryn probably like get along really well, is because you are type A and super, like
Yeah.
organized, and she's more laid back. So you guys like complement each other. Imagine if you were two of you.
Well, I'll tell you what, she's no, she's type A in her own ways, but when it
Okay.
comes to dieting and stuff, but it was great because like that's where my OCD like really kicks in, and it's sort
Hmm.
of it was refreshing to know like I don't really have to be that crazy, you know?
Yeah.
And now I'm able to relay that even more with even more passion to my clients, and they actually, it's not like I'm just like this robot. I am human, you know, and
Yeah.
they see that, and then it resonates with them, and they believe more, right? Which will give them results because then they believe in you and they follow the program.
Right. If there's one thing I hope I relay on my social media, because I show a lot of like my personal life too, is that I'm eating French fries, I'm drinking tequila, I like have a
Yeah.
social life all like also, and yet still getting results.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
there's a world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of your social media, you mentioned that, you know, your area of focus a lot is with young women dealing with issues like PCOS and hypothyroidism.
Mhm.
What is so appealing about that demographic? Appealing might not be the right word, but what's so appealing to you about that demographic that makes you really want to help them?
Yeah, I mean, we started as just like a normal fitness and nutrition type of company. Like that's how I started this whole business, and then morphed into more of the functional, I guess, or more of the disease states because I could relate with my own hypothyroidism. Like I saw a lot of it coming in, and then like attracts like, so I share my story, they come in. So it kind of fell into my lap, and then I, being me, like the puzzles. So I like the clients who are a little bit more difficult
Yep.
versus
Yeah.
just like, let me change your macros and change, build you a fitness plan. I want to know like what I have to do with the hormones and getting their lab work in order, like increasing fertility, all of that. And so I like the more difficult clients. So they kept, I talk about more of it and they would come to me.
Yeah.
So I had no desire to like specialize in PCOS per se, But I kept getting a lot of these clients and then kept succeeding with them
Yeah.
and getting them pregnant, getting them off birth control, right? And so it just kind of fell in my lap. And now I just really love how rewarding it is to work with these women because they're usually all premenopausal and either like before babies. So like
Yep.
helping them get pregnant is kind of fun.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, so one of my best, and I was actually on Aram and Jimmy's podcast, and they asked me
How
what
is
was my,
that?
oh, it was great. It was great. They're hilarious, man. They are so much fun. Um, they asked me like what was my most rewarding client experience, and it was honestly because I work with women who want to get pregnant,
Yeah.
that are pregnant and their nutrition, and then after they get pregnant, and then we work on their nutrition and make sure that they have, optimal food coming in to help with the breastfeeding, and then also kind of getting them back a little bit of a structure, that type of deal.
Mhm.
But anyway, so they asked me what my most rewarding client experience was, and it was happened just like this past year. And it was a woman who came to me. She's been with me for almost 3 years now. She was very heavy set and she couldn't get pregnant, and the doctors were telling her to lose weight to be able to do so. So we took our time, we did what we had to do, and she got pregnant and had a kid. And she's so thankful. She's like, I'm never leaving you. Like, you changed my life completely. And just that, me just having a baby, like, it's such a rewarding feeling, like, and I was able to help someone get there. It was oh man, I'm so fortunate to be able to do something like this for someone. So when it comes to you and you helping these women, especially, with PCOS, and then allowing them to get pregnant, what are your non-negotiables during, like, to get them to become optimized, and then during the pregnancy, what's your non-negotiables, and then even postpartum, what do you say?
Man, so each of these women too, we've had to approach a little differently. Like one had more inflammatory PCOS, another one had insulin resistant. Most of the time they have insulin
Yeah.
resistance. So we're trying to utilize what they're eating, like putting them in a calorie deficit, like losing body fat is the biggest thing for them. And the problem that I see with most PCOS women is they crash diet and go into super low calorie diets and they
Mhm.
can't sustain it. So just giving them enough food to like survive and sustain. So we're putting an emphasis on protein, we're putting an emphasis on fiber. We are I've done carb consistent diets. We've done like whatever we can to optimize glucose, picking up steps, starting strength training. A lot of these women do not strength train. They're all Gen Pop, right?
Mhm.
Working on sleep schedules. We may do like supplementation, like myoinositol or maybe some berberine sometimes, but really just trying to get them eating more fruits, veggies. They're not really doing these type of things and like getting away from food cravings. Then they start to have regular cycles. We start to figure out when they're ovulating. So two or three of the PCOS women that I have got pregnant on the first try. They were like, this is not gonna happen, but
Yeah,
they did right away.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of them still sends me pictures to this day, like, we made this, and it's her
Oh,
baby in the Halloween costume, right?
so cool. So cool.
So during pregnancy, it is, making sure they're still eating. The first trimester is always like a Hail Mary because can they eat? Are they nauseous? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're trying to get them to just survive some of them in the first trimester and still eat healthy foods, avoid the things you're not supposed to eat. Like we all know soft cheeses and alcohol, hopefully, and all of that. Increasing their calories during second trimester and third trimester. So making sure they're eating enough, but also
Mhm.
still working out. We're not having too much weight gain. I'm watching out for gestational diabetes in these clients
Yep.
if they're already kind of predetermined to have prediabetes. And one of my clients actually did have prediabetes, but we handled it completely with diet and everything. She was good. We did blood pressure checks or blood sugar checks per her doctor
Mhm.
often. And then after baby is, yeah, if they're breastfeeding, we need to maintain enough calories for breastfeeding. Still trying to get in movement, but not like rushing it, making sure they're cleared. I think both of them had, no, one had a natural birth, one had a C-section. So obviously
Yep. Mhm.
more recovery for the C-section, but just trying to get them to maintain their normal habits. Like I have a thing, we do the 5 pillars. So just like trying to get them back into those habits as and routine with this with the no sleep. You can only
Yeah.
do what you can do with sleep,
Of
but
course. Yeah.
maximizing other areas.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
the postpartum lack of sleep is something that honestly you just have to deal with because there's no
Yeah.
schedule. Like, I'm sorry, you're just going to be running to the ground in terms of sleep when it comes to that. Because I mean, I dealt with it. And I just, she's sleeping a little bit better now.
Yeah.
But you're getting up. 2 to 3 times a night, some people 5 times a night, you're not getting quality sleep. And that's like, you wish you could fix it, but your priority is your kid, right? So
Right.
just, yeah, you'll worry about sleep later when they get on a better schedule. But I do like your non-negotiables, like the phytonutrients, the antioxidants, that type of stuff. Like just making sure they're getting all the vitamins and minerals from
Mhm.
from a nutrient dense diet. And I think that's key. I really do, because a lot of women will get these cravings, and sometimes they'll get food that they just can't even stomach, right? Like a lot of the women that I dealt with, chicken and eggs were the two pieces of protein where they're just like, I can't
Eggs.
do it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, no, not a chance at all. So you have to come up with ways to be able to make sure that they're still getting enough protein in their diet as
Mhm.
well. So it's almost like you said, like you like the puzzles. It's like finding each, yeah, you're putting together the little puzzle pieces for them. So I think that's great, and I think it's very, very rewarding on both ends.
Absolutely. And it's really funny to watch them like with the cravings too. I don't know if you've ever had someone who got pregnant who was on a GLP-1 and now had to come off. So
No,
now
I haven't.
also dealing with that food
I
noise
haven't
and
worked with that yet. No, no.
yeah, it's an adventure.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
Yeah.
how do you deal with that? Because obviously, the GLP-1s help suppress the food noise. So when they come off, I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of a delay there. They don't feel it initially,
Yeah.
but when it does start to come back, what is your main go-to there?
Yeah. So in like a ideal case, I would like to taper someone off of these, right? So that everything comes back really slowly and then we can kind of manage cravings as they go. But in a pregnant case, you have to come off. You can't really taper.
Yeah,
So we make sure they're still eating satisfying meals. I mean, I think a saving grace sometimes with one of them is that she was just nauseous and did not crave anything, right? Like you have the food aversions.
yeah. There's a
So
blessing in disguise there, right? Yeah,
kinda,
yeah,
yeah. And you're like, all right, well, this paid off a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, that client like ended up miscarrying. So yeah, it wasn't a great situation, but we did have like a handful of weeks to monitor how that went. Um, it's a learning experience because even if you know everything about the drug, you don't know how each client's going to react. So
Yeah.
if I get another one, maybe I'll be able to build up enough wherewithal to put something together, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy too, because like if you get a client like right from there, like if they're like, hey, I'm pregnant and I was on GLP-1s, and then you have to deal with that. But if you have a client who might be on GLP-1s and they're trying to get pregnant, you could slowly implement the habits that they're going to need for foundation while weaning them off, which makes your job a lot easier compared to the other way around.
Absolutely. That's our goal anyway. We have a handful of clients on GLP-1s, and this is on my social media too. If you're not working like hand in hand with someone on lifestyle changes,
Yeah.
like you better plan on being on a GLP-1 for life, or
Yeah.
you're not going to keep what you are doing.
Yeah, I will say that, and I'm not big into like peptides or anything like that, but these are pretty much miracle drugs, man. They really are. Like
No,
they
they
are
are.
legitimate, and they help people who really, really have a hard time, and we could even say genetically have a hard time to lose that weight to get them into a healthier, more optimized position in their life. So, as much as you don't want them to go on it to become reliant upon it, it's like when they need it, it's like, yeah, it's a miracle, in my
Yeah,
opinion. Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm fine for someone continuing to take it. They're meant to be maintenance medications. I'm just against the vanity weight loss, like the
Yeah.
companies who are just promoting it for like the last 10 pounds or
Yeah,
whatever.
the
They're
hinge and
dangerous.
hers, right? Yeah, yeah. So do you find that women today, since that's who you work with, do you feel like they are undereducated, or are they overdiagnosed, or even both?
Man, I mean, even being one of those women, I think a lot of people are undereducated in like nutrition and lifestyle and what we should be doing. Very undereducated in that. But then you're also overeducated on misinformation because like you see a
Wow.
bunch of stuff online and you don't even know what's real. Like when I get on consults, they're like, I just see so much stuff and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I need to know what works for me. And I'm like,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Exactly what we
Yeah.
do. So, and overdiagnosed, that's a good one. I think most people, I mean, the first thing that pops into my head as a pharmacist, I'm like, yeah, we're giving out too many antibiotics. Like we're over medicated.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. But then it's crazy because like I left a world of pharmacology, so I didn't hand out band-aids all day. And then now I feel like the wellness industry has just become supplements. Like
Yep.
you're a
Ugh.
supplement drug dealer, right?
Please. We just well, Dr. Eryn just did a post about how much bullshit supplements actually are. And was given the PMIDs for it, and a lot of people were like reaching out to me and her, and were like, "Is this really true?" It's like, yeah, like this is why, like, if you're gonna sign up with me as a client, like I'm gonna give you, hey, here's recommended just to like cover the basis. You don't have to buy them though; they're not mandatory. Like you can use my coupon code from Legion and like get a little discount, and I
Yeah.
get a kickback. Like, but if you don't want to do it, I don't care, right? But yeah, just the amount of research, and she changed my mind with that. Like, so I came in, I actually took a few functional coaching courses, which is one of the reasons why like I have um, a negative mindset about it, just because of like it. So it was supposed to be a year long. I finished it in like 4 to 6 months and didn't learn anything besides like what supplement to give per symptom. And it's like I don't really believe in that. That's not something that I believe in. And they would provide research with it. And when you look at the research, it's bullshit research. And it's like, well, how am I supposed to believe this? Like, I just wasted money now. I feel like on a certification. But yeah, so she helped me like dive through and like look at research because it was like one of the things that she had to do through med school was she had to like sift out the bullshit research from the legit
Yeah, journal
research.
clubs.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So she helped teach me that, like to look into that. But people don't have that
No.
luxury or they don't have that at their disposal, right? So what would be your advice for like someone who's like being told to do something and they want to look it up, or maybe there's a research article that looks legitimate, but they don't know. How can they tell? Like what would you look for? What would you tell them to look for?
Man, that is also so hard because there's literally like whole semester long classes on statistics and teaching you how to
Yep.
read articles, right? So
Yep.
for someone to just like pick it up, I don't think is going to be possible. But I think what people need to first look at is like study design, right?
Yep.
So that is going to be a big one, whether it's a meta-analysis, which is like an overview of all the studies that have been done. So this is like the big one,
Mhm.
right? And then you have randomized controlled trials, which are the next best and like blind, double blind, those ones, because we're
Yep.
really testing theories. And then you have like observational studies, which
Yep.
are just like, we're drawing this from just observing these people, but we didn't control anything. We don't know their lifestyles. And then people form opinions on those. And you're like, no, that didn't prove anything. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's like a triangle. People can Google like the hierarchy of study design and like at least look at that and see if what they're looking at is good or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think people just need to take science with a grain of salt. Like science is always changing. It's always evolving. Like there's never a set in stone thing. And if we come up with a new research and a new opinion is formed, like then we change our opinion. If you can't change your opinion based on data, then I think that's another problem.
Oh yeah. You're set in your
Um,
own type of zealot religion, right?
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
think what also people need to do, because what you were like reminded me of during your functional health course is like the MLMs that like to provide data,
Yep.
but then you look at the data and you're like, nothing in this product is, or this is a different thing that showed a different thing. And it's not even the clinically effective dose.
Yeah.
That's 300. You're giving me 60.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. 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 But it's got the name though. It's got the label in there, so it's got
Yep.
to be good.
And
And
backed by
that
science.
yeah, yeah, right. So that leads me into like this online coaching space because you see a lot of fitness influencers, I'll call them, that will do this. They'll cherry pick data and they'll put out something like they know something. Like I call him a villain of the health and wellness space would be like uh, Dave Asprey or like a
Oh,
Gary
yeah.
Brecka. So, and I'm always commenting on Dave's stuff and like he never responds, but it's funny the amount of people that like believe him and argue with me. And I'm like, dude, like I'm giving you facts, it's factual data here. He's not. But anyway, so what do you see as some of the common red flags with online coaching that actually sit there and make you cringe or give you like those douche chills?
Douche chills. I don't like the people who are like combative or that come off with like the condescending, like, I'm better than you, science like stuff. I
Yeah.
don't love that. I think if you're an educator, like, you don't need to be condescending or prove anything if you have the data,
Yep.
right? So if your overall energy is already like douche,
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
And then I think red flags are, I mean, even as a pharmacist, I get a lot of pushback because I make money from big pharma, right? And I'm like, no, that's not how this actually works. And I
Yeah.
don't work in big pharma anymore.
Yeah.
But if you see anyone who's not credentialed spitting out a lot of things, like I understand people can self-study, but most of the time they are not credentialed and spewing bullshit.
Yeah, I wish Erin was here with when you
Yeah,
said that because that's a big pet peeve of
bring the
hers.
baby.
Yeah. But I agree with you 100%. If you're not credentialed and you're like you shouldn't be speaking to that. Well, I think didn't this just happen? Didn't they say like in China you have to have like a
Yeah,
certain degree now to be able to talk about like health and wellness or whatever?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think
I
that
think
should
that's great.
that should be legitimate. Like you should do that because there's so much misinformation out here, like you mentioned before. It's just confusing people. And
Yeah.
it could harm them in the long run.
I saw something really funny actually online that was like, you think scientists are lying to you? Like, do you think we're trying to make profit and lying to you? And it's like, have you ever met a scientist? They literally can't shut up about what they're studying
Yeah,
and like what they
yeah.
found. Like, they're not keeping anything from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, no shit. But we live in a world that's full of conspiracies.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we look into like I don't care politically who anyone votes for. I don't wouldn't even talk about politics on here. But if we look at the administration that's in there now, whether you like them or not, I feel like RFK, just from his book and all his stances, I think he's a little bit out there, a little bit like you should not listen to him.
Yeah,
That's just
I
my
agree.
thought.
He
Yeah.
even said, you shouldn't listen to me for medical advice.
He
And we're
did
like,
say that.
what are
Yeah,
they?
wait a minute. Yeah, wait a minute. Aren't you running that? Like,
Oh, listen, again, this isn't even political. This is just like common sense and
yeah.
logic that what they put out and spew and then backtrack on later. Like now, I don't know if you've seen like there's not sufficient evidence for Tylenol. And we were like,
Tylenol, yep,
oh
yep,
shit. Like we
yeah,
were trying to tell you that.
yeah,
It's just it's all performative. And that's kind of where the red flag is if you're performative.
yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, and I would say you mentioned something earlier where you're like, if you come out off condescending, it's sort of like, I don't really want to listen to you because I don't want that energy. And it's funny because like a lot of my clients would send me videos of people like, hey, is this true? And if it's not, can you do your thing where you debunk them? And so I started doing videos like that, and they would get a lot of attention, but I felt so negative doing it that like I
Mm.
stopped and then I went to like, let me look at people who lost a ton of weight. I don't know who they are, but I'm going to tag them and say, look how great this transformation is. Right. And then I started doing that and I felt so much more positive. I'm like, I'm never going back to that. Like, let me debunk this person again because it was such a negative vibe. And it's just like to get in that mindset and like go after this person. It's like, for what? Like,
So I want to challenge you a little on that because that's not even what I was referring to. But I
okay.
feel like if you are debunking someone who has misinformation, I don't know if I see that as condescending. I just see that as you correcting misinformation because there's so much out there.
Well,
Depends on how
I
it's
think it's
said.
how you go about it too. So
Yeah.
if I'm being like a little bit of a dick, I'm
Like,
like,
look at this ass.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh,
Yeah,
this
that's
tool said this, like, yeah,
fair. But
yeah.
I'm talking about even the ones who come on just as their own video and they're like, doctors are lying to you because of
Oh
this.
yeah,
And they're just
oh
like
yeah,
come out very like, if
uh,
you're a low T, I don't know.
yeah.
Like,
Or they
I
got
don't
their
know,
shirts off in the grocery store and they're like, look at this food item right here, and it's got this ingredient in it. You
all
should avoid
salad,
it at all. Yes, yes. Oh man, what a character he is. Anyway, let's not get off tangent here.
Too late.
Let's drive it back into this conversation, and let's talk a little bit about you competing. So we both have that together in terms of something that's similar in our life experience. And I know you mentioned it gave you a little bit of an eating disorder. Can you touch a little bit on that? Like, how do you feel like it developed, and then what sort of eating disorder were you dealing with, and then
Yeah.
how did you overcome that?
Yeah. So I competed from 22 to 25, but not like straight on. I was in pharmacy school. So, like,
Yeah,
absolutely would not recommend competing while having to take tests.
yeah,
I can see it was not good. Um, but the coach that I worked with gave me meal plans. Like, we didn't do macros back then. It was 2011. So, like, competing was very different. That was still in the realm of like no salt and diuretics
yeah.
competing
Uh,
and
Probably
not
really
good.
flat hitting stage too. Yeah.
So flat. Like
Yeah.
my pictures are embarrassing now that I look back.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing PEDs or anything like that. But
In NPC doing that, that's hard.
well, back in 2011, I feel like nobody, like not a lot of people did them as much as they do now. Like bikini now has
Now it's
evolved
insane. It's absolutely insane.
tremendously.
Yeah.
Like they came out with Fit Model, and I'm like, oh, the old bikini. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so then I just kept eating that way and kept eating like, smaller meals and just throughout the day and kept like I was a size 0. I liked it. Got to be a pharmacist and was like, now that I'm out in school, let me try competing in my last show. and didn't place. Kind of was done. And then I still just kept eating that way. And I developed like orthorexia. So, like, just being obsessed about my food
Clean
and what
eating.
I was eating.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Obsessed with clean eating. Yeah.
Obsessed with clean eating. I would say no to social activities. I would bring food with me. I would, like, if I had fruit before bed, or I couldn't have fruit before bed because that was only protein before bed. And if I did have like fruit, I would do fasted cardio in the morning. Like,
Oh,
it was
wow.
not great.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I started macros where I like discovered food freedom. Like, people
Yeah.
say macros are disordered eating. I'm like, no, it helped me
Yeah.
like
It's
get
definitely
out
not
of the
disordered
eating
eating at
disorder.
all. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that took a couple of years to get out of. And then I was so afraid to eat more that I hired my own coach to like put me through a reverse diet
Yeah.
and get me up to 2000 calories, which now my maintenance is dumb, but
Where are you at now?
like 2400.
That's awesome. That's insane.
I can't tell if it's good or if it's just like glycolysis and like
Well,
stress.
it's definitely is. I would say this. So like when I talk about like reverse dieting, my clients are like getting, I call it their metabolic capacity phase. Let's try to increase that as much as possible, right?
Mhm.
One of the big like selling points is imagine working your maintenance up so high that like you could go on vacation, eat 3 meals, and actually be in a deficit,
That's what
right?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing because you don't do any type of damage in terms of like your physique, right? Like you could have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's hard to get over that 2,800 calorie mark because one, you're still practicing your mindfulness, but you're enjoying
Yeah.
yourself, and your quality of life goes through the roof. So, yeah, I agree with that 100%. But how did you start to overcome that? Besides, so you said you hired a coach, but like, how long did that take? Because mentally, it's like to go from that to where you are today. It's not overnight.
I mean, on my own, it took probably 2 years to
Mhm.
like try and get myself. Like, I went from 1400 to 1600, and I think I started with a coach around 1700.
Yeah.
And then since I was paying and investing in it, I just listened to her. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot, whatever. And so by then it took 12 weeks
Yeah.
to
Oh,
get up
okay.
to 2000, 2100.
Yeah.
Myself, I've pushed myself over the years to get up to 2400,
Okay. Great. Yeah.
stuff like that.
And
Yeah.
what's cool about that, like you said, 12 weeks, like that's not a long time at all. And but it also shows you that like your body needed that. Like you didn't even have to work it out. It
Absolutely.
just wanted to be there, probably,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So how has your identity evolved since leaving the stage? Like, do you still feel like you have that competitive mindset come out sometimes, or are you like completely over that?
No, I absolutely did competitions because I'm competitive.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
that competitor mindset will stay no matter what.
Yeah. Great.
But I think, like, I will never say like I encourage people to go do shows because they're just a different beast, right?
Yeah.
If you want to do one, cool, do it the right way, work with someone who can do it the right way, but you will develop such a level of discipline and like self-trust and just sacrifice that it's kind of funny because people are like, how do you drink black coffee? Or how do you drink like tequila water? And I'm like, I
Yeah.
did shows. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
don't have a
Yeah. Yeah.
taste for sugar and shit anymore. Um, it's just it gave me a sense of like what I'm capable of and how much I can say no, and like just it's more of a mental game than a physical one.
Yep.
So I think it just makes you very mentally strong.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, especially the
Yeah.
discipline part. Like just that alone, it's like, yeah, like I could go to, I don't know, a birthday party and I don't have to have the cake. Like if I want to though, I'll take a bite. I ain't got to finish it. Like
Yeah.
there's but that didn't happen overnight. That took a very long time to be able to do that. And I was competing. I started in 2011 and went all the way up until 2 years ago,
Dang.
going on and off, right? So like I was in it and I was be able to practice that.
Yeah.
You just don't get that overnight. And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of coaches should drive into their clients. Like, hey, like we're asking you to be disciplined. We understand that you're not going to be perfect, but you have to really try to help develop that because it's
Yeah.
going to take some time to be able to develop that and get to a point where, you're like Dr. Dyer, right? Like you could go there, you could have your tequila and water. You don't need to have a frozen margarita.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember being at like UF tailgates with freaking chicken in
Oh,
my
jeez.
scooter.
Oh my God. Now that's all right. That's extreme. That's
I mean, I
extreme.
had to do it. I was competing during fall, so
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely true what you're saying about it. I don't know, do you guys run GI maps or do anything like that? Or
We
does it
don't. No.
okay? That is the only time I specifically ask clients to be super strict because you just spent a whole bunch of money on this test. Like we do
Yeah.
have a protocol that we're trying to run. Like I do need you to avoid alcohol during this time. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
do need a little bit of like a max amount of consistency or we're wasting this whole
Yeah,
protocol.
you could sacrifice 2 weeks to be perfect, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
Mm,
So,
can can you? I know. I know.
so how did your, so, because it's a pretty extreme lifestyle. I mean, bringing chicken to UF tailgates. How did your past extreme lifestyle shape your current approach to coaching and to health and to balance?
Yeah, I had to learn the hard way that like not everyone is as disciplined as a competitor, right? Like I'm sure you even working with bodybuilders versus Gen
100%.
Pop,
100%.
extremely different. And these women are not trying to get on stage and have a competition to go for. So you also just have to be a little bit more forgiving, right? And we teach like I teach grace now instead of like, like you were saying, like getting mad at yourself for eating something or
Yeah.
skipping something. Like it's more of like the bounce back, like how quick can you bounce back? Um, it is, I don't know. I love that I can be disciplined myself. Like the only problem is I feel like clients come to me for recipes and I'm like, I am so boring.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah. No, 'cause I am the same exact
The
way.
most
I don't have
boring.
recipes. I
Mm.
got one, and I call it the TPM. It's the Thanksgiving party mix. So it's literally chicken, sweet potatoes, cinnamon, almond butter, and pancakes, sugar-free pancake syrup. And you mix it, you cut it all up, you mix it all together, and enjoy. That's it.
Okay, we
That's
need
the
to
one
see
I
a
got.
recipe on Instagram of that.
That's the one I got. That's it. That's it.
I don't even know what recipes I've had. I've made them. I can make recipes. I just refuse. I just
Yeah.
have beef, vegetables, and rice or something like that, you know?
Yeah. 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 So if you're going to coach your younger self, your younger competitor self, and you have to give one piece of advice to that person, what would that be?
Do an improvement season, reverse diet.
No.
Like work with a coach who maximized like in between because I didn't even gain enough muscle mass really in between my years, you
Yeah.
know? Um, I would give myself the advice to learn how to come out of those diets.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You have to learn the hard way that competitor bodies are not sustainable. And I know a lot of women want to look like that all the time, and competitors don't even look like that all the time. So,
Yeah. And it's crazy that you said that because, like, I experienced after my first competition the worst rebound ever. But what happened was, is like I signed up for like when bodybuilding.com was like a big thing.
oh, yeah.
They had spokesmodels, right? And I just happened to put my application in and I get an email from them and they're like, yeah, you made top five. And I'm like, what? What? And I just gained 20 pounds from my competition. Like I'm sitting water heavy right now. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna fly you out in January. You're gonna come to Boise and you're gonna do shoots and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what? So I called my coach right away. I'm like, yo, I'm like, I don't know
Reverse
what we
this.
have to do. I'm like, I don't know what we have to do, but we got to get in shape like now. And he's like, got you. And we had to do like an extreme rapid fat loss approach.
Yeah.
But it got me there. It got me there. I didn't wind up winning, but it got me there. So,
I mean,
but
look,
that rebound, oof,
I don't know if you took diuretics or anything, but I don't recommend that now
no.
anyway either. But I gained like 8 to 10 pounds immediately after the show just from drinking water, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I did try Diazide. I tried that. It was a
Yeah.
half dose of Diazide. I heard other people using like really extreme ones, and I'm just like, first off, I didn't want to use it, and like
Yeah.
my coach was like, hey, we're only gonna do half. It's a just in case, and I'm like, all right, I'll try it. It didn't do anything, so I never used it after that again because it was like I looked
Hmm.
the same. So I was just like, whatever. I just peed a lot. Felt like,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Diazide would probably be one of the better, maybe, but potassium sparing. But
it
like
was
other
potassium
people were
sparing. Yeah.
using Lasix, and I'm like,
That's
oh,
it.
that's
That's the
terrible.
one. Yeah, Lasix. That's the one. I was like, why are you like, no, what's the point? You
Like
want water in your muscle cells. Like, you don't want to just get rid of all of it. So, yeah.
all the things we used to do.
Oh my God, it's crazy. Anyway, well, look, we've taken up almost an hour of your time. I want you to have my listeners be able to follow you, look at your content because you have amazing content, and women from the age ranges of 25 to 60, I think you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. If you want a coach that actually knows what she's doing, promotes and lives the lifestyle, and does it the right way, because when she does get labs, and you need to be sent out, she sends you out, which is huge on my end. I love that. So, yeah, why don't you tell my listeners where they can find you?
Yeah, I mean, the most prominent place and to get an instant response basically is going to be Instagram. So, Dr. Dwyer is Dwyer, but it's okay. I was
Oh,
like,
Dwyer. So
um,
I'm a big Wayne Dyer guy. So
there you go.
yeah.
It's dr.dwyer. So if you find me there, and then there's links to my website and all of that in the bio, and I'll probably reach out and welcome you to my page. I love to do that with all of my followers and just like stay connected with everybody, see how you got here. So
Awesome. Wow,
yeah,
this whole time you've been letting me say Dyer, and then you come out at the end with a slap in the face. Appreciate
it
that.
wasn't a slap in the, you know how often that happens. So I just don't even, like, it's fine.
All good. All good. Well, look, thank you so much for coming on here. Had a blast with you, and I look forward to communicating us, making fun of people not, just discrediting Seco and things of that nature.
Oh, we didn't even get into that. Dang.
No, we'll
I'm
say that
kidding.
we'll say that for a part two. Yeah. Well,
All
thank
right.
you so much for coming on. I appreciate
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
So, on behalf of Balanced Bodies, we just want to say thank you for joining us on this episode of the Balanced Bodies Blueprint.
We are committed to bringing valuable content. And if you enjoyed today's episode, we'd greatly appreciate it if you can take a moment and like it and leave a 5-star review.
On Apple, just go to the show, scroll down to the bottom and rate it there. If you're on Spotify, go to the show's page, click the 3 dots, and you can rate it there as well.
And if you believe in the power of knowledge, share this episode on your social media to try and get the information out there to as many people as possible.
And as you navigate your own path towards better health, remember that Balanced Bodies is forever in your corner. See you all next week.
The podcast content may include discussions of medical topics and health-related information. However, the information provided should not be considered exhaustive or complete, and it should not be relied upon as a substitute for professional medical advice or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare providers with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment.